So first of all, I've reached 86 on my main. I've got 77 on one of my alts and 50 on another alt. And this is my opinion about the game so far. And I'm not even done building my characters. My druid's still missing some aspects, and my main is missing cooldown reduction after the nerf to rogues. I need more cooldown reduction. I just it costs so much to enchant, so I haven't been doing that. So let me log into the game so I could talk about my #1 issue with the game real quick. So my biggest issue with the game right now is storage. It's literally the stash space. So you have 10 character slots and you have 4 stash tabs within the game at your stash box here, the little chest. And there's obviously different builds for each class, right? So there's like different skills on the skill tree which require different stats on gear, which require space to store those said pieces of gear. So for example, right now I am pulverized build and I'm using a staff. I will be switching to werewolf build because I got my helmet last night, Tempest Roar, but the issue with this is I don't have stash space. This is your missed items in the dungeon, by the way. So the issue I'm having is I don't have stash space to store multiple sets of gear for just one. That's just one character, chat. This is my alt. My main, I have my main, my rogue. This is my rogues tab, right? This is my druids tab. This is my like, okay, I'm gonna keep these things for later use tab, and this is my potion slash. Oh, these are going to be items I'll be equipping on my character tab, and that's it. That's all I have. And then, what you want me to make 36? Or I'm sorry, not 36. You want me to make 7 other characters? Because I have 3 characters I play. I have my druid, I have my rogue, and I have my barbarian. I was going to make a sorcerer and a necro. I was going to make all the classes, but after realizing that we don't have space to make all these characters and utilize, you know, I want to be able to play multiple different builds. Imagine if I was barbarian, right? And I'm all I do is just like spam my shouts and spin around, right? That's my build, right? After doing that for, you know, 8 hours, I might get bored and maybe I want to switch to a Rind or maybe a Thorns build. But since I have multiple characters that have multiple builds, I don't have enough stash space to store all that stuff. So that's my biggest thing with the game. And then secondly, the only other thing I really don't like about the game, and this is kind of a simple fix I would assume, is to refund these, I have to click every single one all the way back down the board. Why? Where's like why can't I just click here or something, right? Like, and refund all. That's quite annoying. And you know, that's as somebody who has a lot of time, it's not too bad, but for a casual player, I can see this being super frustrating. So yeah, that's it. Just stash space and the Paragon. Those are the 2 worst things in the game, in my opinion. So I just can't have that. So after playing hundreds of hours, I got over 200 hours easily. Here's what I found. Aside from those 2 issues, there's no like world chat for one. There's no group finder. You know, there's nothing aside from your friends list. There's like a local player list, and that's it. So it kind of makes it hard to socialize in the game aside from using the official Discord. And a lot of my complaints are I don't have friends. I play solo. I don't like to play in groups. I play solo. I can't find people to play with. I don't want to use Discord. I don't like Discord. There's so many things like excuses to why we should have some type of in-game chat, LFG, or something like that, similar to Diablo 3. Another issue I found with the game, just a small one though, is alerts. So like Helltide, for instance, just started while I was recording this, and we got no alert that this started. I had no idea this started until I opened my map. There should be, like, I played Lost Ark, for example, and they had like when you open the map, they had like a tracker that tracked all the world events, and you could put like timers on them, you could set names, you could set, whatever, just so you were alerted that, hey, this event's about to start, so you'd have time to arrive. And it's the same with the world bosses and the Legion events. I'm trying to see if there's a Legion event. I do not see a Legion event, but I believe they should add some type of tracker for this within the game. I don't like having to utilize Discord, as the game already has some type of issue with the graphics card and uses 100% of my graphics card randomly and causes major issues with the game. And my PC, literally my PC breaks. So there's that. And then, but yeah, like, we need some type of alert system. That'd be really nice for us to have. And then what's really cool, another thing I like is, so I've completed, obviously I've 100% the map. I've done, everything except the side quests. I've done all the dungeons, I've done all the Liliths, I've done, I've done all of it. So, after have done all of this, I noticed that all of your progression for a campaign, you can choose to select that on your alt, and when you start a new character, you'll have the campaign completed, you'll have all the statues, etc. But there is one thing they forgot to add, and that is the map. You don't have the map. The fog of war still remains on your alts, and also you don't have the waypoints. So not having teleports and stuff like that. You do have the main cities though, so that is one thing. But I think since you did it all on your main and you got everything done, you did all the I literally did every dungeon in the game. I'm actually working on a dungeon rating list, and so far there's only very few dungeons. Ruins of Iridu is one that's an A tier. Let's see, Iron Hold, this is an A plus. You got like the solo dungeon, Alder's Cave, this is like an A plus. That's you got the one I just found yesterday, Calibo's Mine. This one's like an A plus. This is 12 mil an hour solo. And then you got like dungeons, for instance, like where is it? Yeah, Champions Demise, right? Like that's S tier. So you got all these different dungeons, but then you have dungeons like Shadowed Plunge, right? Like this dungeon is F tier. This is a terrible dungeon, very bad layout, a lot of backtracking, a lot of range mobs that run away from you, teleport, just an annoying dungeon to do. Goa Ruins, another pretty bad one. Loiasan's Mall. A lot of these are not that good, and compared to like Champions Demise or like Ruins of Uridu, one of the other better ones. And there's one up here, yeah, Anakin's Claim. This one's like an A plus. This one's okay. So aside from a few dungeons, there's a couple I haven't shown because I haven't made videos for those yet, but there's a couple other ones I do farm that are really good and packed with elites. I'll be showing those in future videos. I just haven't shown them yet because I don't quite want them nerfed, because I still utilize them. And it just seems to be, every time I post a video about, oh, here's a really good spot to farm XP / gold items, whatever, some really big, like, million subscriber casual gamer YouTuber literally takes my video and makes a video of it, gets like 100,000 views, and then it gets nerfed within like 12 hours. So I haven't shown a couple of the spots. There is that. I'm not sure why Blizzard keeps nerfing these dungeons. They in my opinion lack mobs. They don't have enough mobs. On world tier 4, which is currently the highest world tier, I feel that mobs should be way denser, a lot more packed in there. I feel like Nightmare Dungeons should have affixes where it's like 80% more mob density, 120% more mob density. We're lacking mobs. I want more mobs to kill. I want to be overwhelmed and like have to actually play as a group. Like, okay, you CC first, I'll CC second. like make group play like actual group play. I mean, a lot of people are low level and they're just blasting through content because each pack is like 3 or 4 mobs. That's kind of annoying. And yeah, so maybe adjust the mob size. Maybe have like world tier 3 like casual, where it's like this, and then world tier 4 it's just like extreme, like literally hell, right? Like that would be really cool. But that's a pipe dream. So let's move on to the next part. That's the lack of build variants. So I mean, I understand that they are catering to the casual players, but they are still trying to satisfy the more hardcore players like ourselves, myself, and a lot of people watch my videos with the Paragon system. But I mean, we still lack in what we could, like what is an optimized build and can actually push high nightmare. Like the end game in this game is pushing nightmare dungeon. It's exceeding, it's literally going, oh, can I do this 100 key, right? It's, can I spam this 100 key comfortably, right? It's, oh, can I attempt this 100 key without dying, right? And then, you know, the end game to me is, I want to be able to do the highest tier nightmare dungeon as fast as possible. I want to be able to farm it. That's my end game goal. Everybody's talking about like, oh, I already beat the game, I already did end game. End game is this and that. Guys, some of the highest level uniques in the game apparently don't drop until after nightmare level 90. So you got like a lot of these people saying, oh, I beat the game and stuff like that. They're just talking out of their ass. Very, 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 I don't see too many people doing that high of nightmare dungeon comfortably and quickly. Like, I can do it, but you know, it's not quick. My rogue is not optimized. I'm just twisting blades, you know, death trap build, and it's a very good build. It can push very high, it can push comfortably. It's just I don't have the optimized gear for it. And that's the other thing, is like optimizing your gear. This is an ARPG. That's literally what an ARPG is. It's a grind. And if you didn't know that, well, welcome to the ARPG realm, because that's all these games are, is grinds. So get used to that. I don't mind. I love the grind. I love like, okay, this, you know, I need to stack vulnerable damage, for example, right? So like, does this have vulnerable? Does this have vulnerable? You know what I mean? It's like, I want to optimize my gear so I can be the most efficient and fastest at farming whatever I need to farm. That's one thing that really irks me, is I see a lot of people saying, oh, I beat the game because, you know, I got, you know, whatever max skill build or whatever, and like they feel that they, you know, beat the game, but they don't even have you know, they're not 100 for one. They're not 100, and they haven't done like Capstone Lilith. They haven't done you know, the max level sigils, and so I mean, it's repetitive content, but the point of it is to get as high as level as possible. It's to push and be able to do and farm that high level sigil. Now, if that's not the type of gameplay for you, then, well, I don't know what to tell you, because that is the end game, the actual end game. And prior to that, if you're hardcore, you're going to be going out and gathering Helltide potions. You're going to be going out and gathering a lot of potions, spending a lot of downtime, and then trying to do your nightmare push. So on hardcore, it's going to be a little harder. On softcore, it doesn't matter if you die, you just lose a revive. If you're in a team, you can just revive each other. It's kind of weird. There's no time limit, so I mean, as long as you don't die, you can essentially just keep pushing, and that is, to me, the end game. But before that, you know, you have to gear yourself up to be able to do that, and you do that, you know, via Helltide, doing lower level nightmare dungeons, and basically lower level nightmare dungeons, Helltide and lower level. That's the end game loop. So every other hour you want to do Helltide for an hour, get your Forgotten Souls from that for rerolls on gear, and you need a lot of gold. You need a lot of Forgotten Souls, like you like a lot. It takes a lot. So like, end game in this game is farming Helltide and farming Nightmare Dungeon, and that's it. That's all I have to say about that. So And a lot of people aren't doing that, so I don't respect their opinion when they say they beat the game and they haven't done any of that. Like, I'm nowhere near beating the game. I'm only 86, right? Like, I'm only 86. I'm only doing like nightmare, like level like 49 or 50 or like sigils or something. So I'm nowhere close to beating the game. And I'm working on my alt. I'm really loving my druid. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I am having issues with stash space. I'm gonna have to make alts just a mule because each alt has 36 extra tabs. So I'm literally gonna have to make an alt to hold gear for my main and my alts. So making mules is kind of annoying. I wish they would just add more stash space. I don't understand the whole 4 limited tab thing, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. I was kind of ranting. Dungeons. I did talk about dungeons a little bit already, but dungeons, my god, most of the dungeons are just so bad layouts. And then like the objective, like slay all enemies, for example, you literally have to slay every single enemy in the dungeon. And then if you accidentally start an event during a slay all floor, if you start like a side event during the slay all event, you have to complete the event now because those monsters become part of the slay all monsters. Like, it's just super obnoxious. It should be like 80 or 70% or something, you know, of mobs, not the entire floor. That's, I don't know. For some classes, that's really annoying, especially druid, having to slay every single little monster when you're like pulverized build, for example, and you're just sitting there, you know, you gotta like left click, right click, left click, right. It's just way too tedious and just too much work. Slay all is a terrible thing. And then the ones where it's like, there's one, yeah, Halls of the Damned. Okay, this is maybe one of the worst dungeons I have done in the game. This is definitely, if I had to rate it through like, you know, A to F tier, this is like Z tier. This is like horrendous. So this dungeon, you backtrack so much. You enter the dungeon, you have to go down a teleporter. Once you're in the teleporter, you walk down a long hallway, very long hallway. You kill a single boss at the end of the hallway. There are no more mobs left because you've killed them all running to the boss. And now there's no teleporter or exit where you are, so now you have to run back all the way down that corridor, exit through the teleport you just came in, run back through everything you've already cleared, all the way to the opposite side of the dungeon now, to another teleporter, do the same exact thing, kill that single boss, run all the way back, exit teleporter, run all the way back to the middle, open the door, and then you have to do it again. The same exact thing. So this is by far the worst dungeon I have done in the entire game. And these type of layouts make me never want to enter this dungeon. I don't care if this thing said, if a quest popped up right now and said it gave 10,000 grim favors, I would not do this dungeon because that's how terrible the layout is. It's how dumb the quest is. There are other dungeons. Let me see if I can... I can't remember which one, but there's one up here. You enter the dungeon, and there's like 15 climb points. It's like you're playing Prince of Persia. You literally enter the dungeon. You have to do one jump point. Now you climb down. You do another jump point. Then you climb down. Another jump point. Another jump point. You climb down. You literally spend a minute. Because I was going around timing and finding dungeons where we can farm really good XP solo and in groups, aside from Champion's Demise, because I have a feeling that they might nerf Champion's Demise because they've nerfed everything else. So I've been just trying to find backups just in case they nerf that. And during that time, I as well time my runs to see XP per hour and stuff like that. And some of these dungeons, my god, it literally took me 1 minute to climb into the dungeon to start fighting the first mob. Like, it was super obnoxious. So like things like that with the dungeons need to be fixed and or just completely removed. Climb points in this game are terrible. Open world is fine. Seamlessly open world, I love that. I love the climb points in the open world. Open world, they did a fantastic, wonderful job. That looks phenomenal. I can't get over how good this game looks. Open world, you did a really good job. Okay, so right here, Gathering Allegiance just started. We didn't get alert. I had no idea that started, right? 3 minutes. I have 3 minutes to get there. That's terrible. We need some type of in-game alert system for this type of stuff, because like these events are important, very important, especially Helltide. Helltide is one of the most important in-game things you can do. So anyways, but yeah, they need to fix the dungeons. I don't like the extreme backtracking and some of the really just mundane, stupid events that spawn in these dungeons. Some of them are just really bad. And then it like we need something to farm aside from Helltide. I mean, Helltide's fun. I have a lot of fun with this. But what do I do for the other hour? Do I just do nightmare dungeons for the other hour, and then when Helltide's back up, I go back to Helltide? Do I do like 4 hours of dungeons? Do I, you know what I mean? It's like the in-game loop is kind of weird. I guess you only do Helltide when you need materials. I don't know. I do get a lot of good drops from there, but nightmare dungeon is my main focus has been, aside from just farming you know, experience and checking all the, I've been literally trying to check every dungeon on the map, and I've done all of them, but I'm going back through them because I wanted to just, you know, check the XP and stuff. So so another thing I wanted to talk about is the, this is not final, extremely bad UI within Diablo. This is a mobile game on December that I played. This is an ARPG that was a mobile game. Everybody complained because it was pay to win. I was free to play, and I did very well in this game as free to play. You can see I max leveled, I got very good gear, etc. Yeah, this is a mobile game, and look at the, this is the stash, like the stash space, my inventory or whatever. This is my character sheet, and this is like your skill page, and then this is what the actual like hotbar look like, right? So like the UI in Undecember is literally the same to me as it is in Diablo, right? Like to me, the UI is terrible in Diablo. It is actually terrible. I literally just compared it to a mobile game that I played, and like that's a small, actual small company. Come on, Blizzard. It's 2020. It's literally almost 2024. Like, what are you guys doing? So yeah, the UI is pretty bad. And then like it's just, there's little things like that that really annoy me. So the other thing is, I talked to, you know, I've been talking to other players. I talked to a couple guys who did reach 100, and I talked to you know, some of the casualer players as well. I talked to a lot of people from YouTube, a lot of comments and feedback. A lot of people came onto my Discord, and they've been talking to me on Discord and stuff like that. And one of the main things I've heard from players is the hardcore players are saying the game's too easy, there's not enough to do. And that's where I went on that rant in the beginning of this video about, oh, I've already beat the game, what do I do? I have nothing left to do. Have you pushed Nightmare? Are you maxed on Nightmare? Like, you know what I mean? Do you have like BIS rolls on your gear, stuff like that? And they haven't, so I can't say they've beaten the game. But for us, the no-lifers who play the game, you know, that's whatever. That's irrelevant. We no-life the game. It's expected to achieve like in-game before a casual person who has to work like every day or has a family and things like that. Somebody who doesn't have the time to spend all day on a video game. So I'm actually glad they cater to the more casual like dads and moms and things like that. You know, and I hate to say this, but the kids who have to go to school and shit, you know, they cater to them, which is good. And they I don't think they're ever like, most casual players probably won't get to 100. No, I don't think they will. They might get to like 70-ish, 80, But after around 50, 60, 70, it starts slowing down a lot. So I don't really see a lot of casual players reaching 80. So it's nice that everything does scale. I don't like the scaling, but I do like the scaling, and I like it just for the fact that casuals can experience everything in the game almost with scaling, so that's fine. But I don't like it because there's world tiers, and I don't think there should be scaling in world tier 4. I think it should be like a set area where you go in there and either you're ready for it or you're not, and you just get obliterated, or you know, can actually fight and do the area. I don't think the last tier should have scaling, but that's just my opinion. So that being said, I'm okay with it being oriented towards casuals, because that makes, you know, Blizzard a lot of money. Casual players, you know, there's a lot more casuals than there are hardcore players. I'd say hardcore community is very niche, very small, compared to the casual community, which is extremely large. And as a company perspective, it's obviously they're going to cater to, you know, whoever gives them the most money, so that's going to be the casual player. So I expected something as casual as this, but I am glad that they gave us the Paragon system for the more hardcore players, which is very nice. Just a little more something to do as a hardcore player. And then I you know, I'm okay with having just sigils for pushing, you know, high-end content, and you know, I'm okay with that. But I do believe we should have some type of maybe like bosses or something that we can do, or something just a little more content endgame wise, aside from just Helltide and Nightmare Dungeons. And the one big thing I have about Nightmare Dungeons is when you open a dungeon, let's just go ahead and I don't know, let's just open like this one. Oops. So when you open this, it pops up down here, right? And now I have to walk there. Right, I have to walk all the way there, so I can, you know, I have to teleport, so I can teleport there. But that's gonna get really old, really fast. And it's some of these dungeons, like for example, this one, right? So like, you have to spawn like here and then run all the way there. Okay, so and God forbid you get the flooded depths, right? Like, God forbid you get that, so you have to spawn there and run all the way up there. So certain dungeons have just, you know, a really far run time to get to. So when you're doing nightmare runs and pushes, that gets kind of annoying. Your horse dies in like one hit. That's super annoying. So I think they should address that in some way. I'm not sure how they could. Maybe when you pop the sigil and everybody accepts it, it just ports you to the dungeon or something. But I don't like that. But it does kind of force you to explore and like unlock everything, etc. But I did all the exploring and everything before I started doing my nightmare dungeon pushes, because I wanted all the Paragon points, I wanted the extra skill points from the Lilith statues, and I wanted all the waypoints. So especially the waypoints, I'd say the waypoints are the most helpful thing in the game, just so you can access the dungeons quicker, because you have to run to them. So having the waypoints does help. But like I said, some of these dungeons are just in obscene locations and really far away from the nearest waypoint. So those are going to get quite annoying when I'm pushing higher level nightmare dungeons, dealing with, you know, repetitively dying from skill issues and things like that, lack of gear, whatever. And then having to run to that dungeon is just going to be annoying. So, but yeah. And then I saw, dude, I have so many, since I play Rogue, I got a lot of feedback on Discord and on the YouTube about how did the nerfs and stuff affect your class and blah blah blah. Well, when the nerfs went into effect, I wasn't at full build, so they affected me more so than others. And I mean, it's still playable, it's still okay, it's still a really good class. It's just not as good as it was before, so I'm kind of disappointed, but it needed to be done. Same with Barb. Barb definitely was too OP, way too OP. Barb was just a machine and had to be brought down. It was like the Terminator going ballistic, just killing everything. They had to bring that thing down. They had to shut Skynet down. So yeah, I'm okay with the nerfs. I think they should have maybe have done the nerfs when the server slam occurred. They should have done the nerfs between server slam and the June 4th or whatever first release. So they should have addressed those then, because the max roll guides and all that stuff was already created, and you can easily just Google max roll and just see all these like Woody Joe and whoever the other theory crafters and data miners and count shares and things like that. You can check there and see all the information they had data mined and had access to. So a lot of people had access to the full game before it was even out, so they were already playing it and theory crafting and making all these builds and things. So Blizzard could have utilized that information, which was readily available via Google. You just type in max roll and just look at the builds. What do you know? And then go through, look at all the S tier builds, and then try that build on your test server and then nerf it, instead of waiting for the game to go actually live and then nerf it right before the game officially launched. So all us deluxe guys got to play with the quote-unquote OP builds, and then right before the official launch they hit the nerf, and then all the other guys kind of got screwed with that and kind of got cucked. So I mean it is what it is, but I think the nerfs definitely needed to be done, so I'm okay with the nerfs. But with that being said, that's where I'm at with the game. If I had to rate this game, I'd give it like, comparing it to other ARPGs like PoE and things like that and previous Diablos, I'd have to give this I'd give it like a solid 8ish, maybe like an 8.2. And I didn't even mention all the other issues with the game, such as like crashes, freezes, your computer blows up, things like that. I didn't even get into that. But with all that being said, the game is still to me at least a minimum an 8. This is a really good game. As a casual person, you're going to get your money's worth. You're definitely going to be able to get hundreds of hours out of this, if not more. If you are a casual player, I'm assuming you're looking up a guide on max roll like I was talking about, and you're going through and following the guide. And even if you're following the guide, it's still going to take you hundreds of hours. I know a lot of people who didn't want to get power leveled, and they started they didn't have the deluxe issue, so they started on the 6 or whatever, and they're only level 20, and they're following a guide, and they're still only level 20, and they're casual players. So and these guys they have played other ARPGs, so they're not like brand new to ARPGs. They did play Diablo 3, they played the other ARPGs, so and they're still low level. This game, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to min-max, it will take you quite a while to level up. It does take quite a long time to level up, so, and that, especially if you don't get power leveled. So I mean, it's definitely a solid 8. Go ahead, and I'd recommend playing the game. Definitely recommend it. With all the issues I've talked about and everything, I'd still play the game. It's very enjoyable. The theme to it, I love the theme. I love the music. I haven't watched any of the cinematics. I've been too busy trying to get maxed everything. I watched some of the cinematics on the YouTube, which is what I think most people will do. I don't know. I'm not a content creator who just is like, oh, lore, guys, how about the lore? Like, I'm not Jack Black over here, so yeah. But yeah, that's my opinion on the game, and that's where we are, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.